And welcome back to week 5 of the NACE competition between ISU and
Oklahoma Christian.
Oklahoma Christian University.
There we go.
This is going to be an interesting one because
It will.
we've done our research. Oklahoma Christian is a formidable opponent across the entire league, but they're kind of in a funk right now.
And their history is formidable, I should say, but
Yeah.
their recent history is not so much.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, both teams that you got about to see play right now are kind of in a slump. We've lost the last two, but so have they. So this game will be pretty interesting. We'll kind of see, not everybody can stay losers. So
Yeah.
something's got to give.
What's really surprising, the fact that they have been losing, having this little slump, is the fact that they have two top 500 players, both supports, in their ranks. So it's going to be really interesting. We will see probably a really good display of tank heals for the tank, a lot of absorption of damage, and we'll pay attention to that. But we'll see really if we can pull out a win here.
One thing that I will encourage, I will want to look at a lot is the battle of the tanks in this match, because for their team, their weakest link or their lowest rank is their tank, which is a Diamond 1. So I'll be really curious to see how the fall off of positioning and team play happens between his supports to the tank.
Absolutely.
And can us, average Pello, along with the rest of our team, take advantage of maybe their tanks inexperienced.
Yeah.
Per se.
One thing we will see a little different in the roster for ISU this time, Lemonade, who's usually has usually been a DPS, has taken a little break from that, has gone to the support role, but we will see her back in the DPS position, so we'll be able to get those amazing pop-offs that she's kind of famous for. Perks-wise, this is the first week that the NACE tournament will officiate and enforce perks to be used throughout the game, so teams will not be able to discuss it out and kind of hash out whether they want perks or not. It is an official part of the NACE League tournament competition, and we will see perks from here until the end of the season, and then onward from there.
So I'll be curious to see now that NACE has given the teams a little bit to kind of get used to perks, playing in their ranked games, figure out what works and what doesn't. I'll be curious to see what comps come about because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're still pretty new to the scene when it comes to perks, and we're still trying to learn what a perk looks like. Some are a lot more apparent than others. One thing we've seen a lot lately in the season is Tibjorn, and his perk, being able to stick his turret on walls or ceilings, is a very obvious one, so we can be able to look at that. But some others are a little harder, where maybe it's a 15% boost on a push,
Yeah.
or maybe they reload or don't reload, or maybe they don't have to reload, like Cassidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another example of that is when you're looking at heroes like Orisa, one of her perks is she gets her old shield back. But then when you're looking at other heroes like Zarya, one of her main perks is her beam, when it's over 50%, pierces enemies.
Yeah.
So it's really small things that could subtly change the game that I'm really interested about.
So we get to see the map set first off in Control. We get Nepal. Now, I don't exactly know. I wasn't told who won the coin toss in this matchup, so I don't know who picked this one. And it sounds like it was Oklahoma Christian who won the coin toss and picked Nepal. So should be fun to watch. And yeah, again, every week we talk about what really matters is that initial momentum, getting the damage off fast, getting your pockets filled, so that it just kind of paves the way through the rest of the match.
It is really, really important to establish yourself first in these matches. Especially, coming out the gate, both teams haven't won in a couple weeks. This is really a message fight to kind of set the tone of how the rest of this game will be.
And it looks like we're getting a kind of similar tank composition. Looks like Knight Slash is going for the Natra as well as Average Pello. So it's going to be Renata against Renata. Now it's really going to come down to the support play here.
Lemonade. So Ashe, I might be wrong, but was Ashe not banned in this tournament?
She was 2 weeks ago, but she is back.
Interesting. So we should see lots of value for Lemonade.
Yeah.
Now, being able to play Ashe, a bit more of a comfortable character, that could be a reason why Lemonade did end up switching back to DPS for this game.
And it looks like they were able to get a pick off of Xerath, but it doesn't look like they were able to get too much momentum. Looks like they do have boots on the ground at the control point. First going over to Oklahoma Christian, and now they're just kind of playing around this choke point here, trying to keep them out of the play.
Very good disengaging from Idaho State. You know, because they did get first pick, but they weren't able to completely get wiped out. They were able to kind of sustain themselves.
Yeah, they prevented the snowball.
Yeah, able to re-engage pretty quickly.
And ultimately-wise, we're probably going to see Oklahoma Christian be able to get their ults up first, but we'll see if Idaho State decides to make a real push before that happens.
Nice Slash does end up popping his ultimate. Both teams do exchange ultimates. Lemonade sending Bob into the backline, trying to provide some off angle.
Average Pill almost goes down, but
Average Pillow does end up getting picked by their Riptire. We'll have to continue this fight without their tank. Trying to get a pick here and there. Lemonade's trying to get out with her life, is able to.
And as ISU is pushing back, Oklahoma Christian is sitting at 50% and above for the contested zone. So ISU just has limited time to recoup and make a push for this contested zone. They did manage to establish themselves in the corner, but they are going to have to break through these defenses, probably by at least getting a pick before they can commit to anything.
Pick on the wrong side, unfortunately, as the rest of the team does go down. Average Pello not able to use his ult in that fight. This is probably going to be last fight territory if they are able to touch. I would imagine Average Pello probably initiates with his ultimate. Pretty big dynamite for Lemonade. Lots of fire damage. The count box does. Lemonade, Average Pello does end up picking one.
Average Pill is just trying to soak up as much damage. It's just trying to be able to touch, but doesn't have the manpower.
Some nice shots from Lemonade. Does end up securing 2 picks, trying her best. Does unfortunately end up getting shut down.
And last to go is, who was that?
Bacon and Cake.
That was Bacon and Cake. Unfortunately, they got a little staggered at the end, which is definitely a play for contested zones like that, and it worked in their favor. They weren't able to get a turnover, unfortunately. We usually get to see Idaho State grab a turnover. This is a very difficult team, though. They are, historically, in the last season, they were one of the top teams. Despite the funk, they do have 2 top 500 players amongst their ranks. So, and both of those players are in the support role, making their tank pretty much one of the most difficult chores that they'll have to face. One
thing I do like from the Bengals is that Average Pillow does switch off of Ramatra and decides to play Diva. Try to eat up some of, because they are just dealing lots of damage, especially with the Junkrat in these tight corners with the Ramatra. Like, there's just a lot of projectiles coming, a lot of damage. So I really like to switch from Average Pillow to try to soak up some of that, try to create more space for his team.
It looks like ISU has definitely decided to make a stance first and kind of box them out. And hopefully that works in their favor. Looks like the Ramatra is gaining a little momentum, just taking little baby steps to push them out. Unfortunately,
Diane is unable to put Average Pillow out of his mech form.
And Boots
Pillow does end up getting picked. We're in Baby Diva, and the rest of the team will more than likely fall to this first point.
Diane's first to go down. It is a team wipe for Oklahoma Christian University once again. Yeah.
So one thing that I would like to point out is like their supports are really good. Like, as you nothing is dying. So like that is one thing that you're gonna have to think about and like deal with, is that like Lemonade and Bacon and Xerath, like they're gonna have to be on point to get picks.
Yeah, and those picks have to be those supports.
Yeah.
In order to disrupt anything,
correct,
supports are going to have to be dealt with. So they're going to have to fail to. They're going to have to they need to be able to spot the supports through the weed of chaos and
Very
get those
nice pick
picks
for Lemonade.
really quickly.
Does secure the entry pick. Sorry, didn't mean to talk.
You're fine. They were able to get the DPS though, which does help.
Lemonade applying pressure. The Night Slayer does unfortunately end up picking Zareth and Diane. Average Prelo does Desperation ult, trying to play his life.
I love seeing that Lemonade basically knew where everyone was on the map, but it was just a little bit
Too much going on.
of action right on her doorstep.
Yeah. She had the right shots. She had the right targets. It's just too much heat in her face.
Yeah.
So we do have lots of ults for the Bengals. I would imagine probably Lemonade will throw Bob in the back, try to create some space.
Yeah, this is the time to do it.
So Bob does come out.
Oh,
Lemonade
just
very close to death, and
unfortunately gets clapped.
does unfortunately end up meeting that death.
Let's
Average Prelo trying his best to get the pick, does end up getting the pick on Bubbles. Diane does go down because Average Prelo was not there, unfortunately.
Shout out to our observers. That was a great angle.
Does end up getting found and put in the Baby Diva form. Playing pretty aggressive. Trying to get back in his mech.
So with Bacon and Cakes having the only ultimate, that's basically all they have to really use for what seemingly is going to be a last touch attempt. Average Pello does decide to... Oh no, that wasn't a pop-off.
No, yeah,
she sells at 60%.
That was her mech. Riptire coming in, does end up getting Lemonade. Bacon and Cake will go down to the Ramatra, and Average Pello is unable to touch.
It looked like a
could've
touch. It didn't
sworn.
actually happen though. Weird.
I could have sworn Average Pello touched.
Oh, you should have been here. That reminds me of earlier this week. I'm gonna switch it to Rocket League. There was basically the equivalent of a touch, but not enough.
Yeah.
I shouldn't talk about Rocket League. You would have had to been there. It was amazing.
So I mean, as we expected, you know, coming into this match, we are playing against opponents who historically are very good, and we did think that maybe we would have seen a little bit more of an equal matchup because of that fall off at tank.
Yeah.
But it just the rest of their team is just able to bring that tank up and just support it.
It makes you
pretty well.
What kind of funk they've been in the past 3 weeks? Like what? Because the teams that they have been facing off the past 2 weeks, I think.
One of them was Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, at San Antonio.
Yeah, and they're a good team, I guess. So you know what? Sometimes you win some, you lose some. That's gaming. Just remember that you can't let it get to you too much. It's a part of life. You lose some, just keep going.
Yeah.
For them, they lost 2 in a row, which happens, but ultimately they are a very good team. Much respect thrown their way.
Yeah, I mean, I did appreciate how we tried to counter and like kind of swap. Average Pello did switch off of Ramatra on that first point, trying to soak up some of the damage, and I really did think that that pick was the right one, and it is better because I mean, look, like we were able to secure the point for a little bit. It just wasn't enough.
It makes me. I wonder if choosing to go Diva maybe on the first half of that game could have been a winning factor because of her. She has booping ability, and there's a lot of chasms that you can potentially utilize. But I'm no strategist myself.
I think that definitely would have been something that would have been in their minds, but I think it's super hard to pull that off.
Yeah, especially when you are faster than your healers.
Yeah,
and you're basically just sacrificing yourself and hoping to get maybe boop someone off or 2.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, it's just a gamble, and ISU probably just don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, our next map will be a hybrid map, and it will be Blizzard World, which is pretty surprising because normally when we have the second pick, we pick Kings Row.
Yeah, I would say last season we got to see Blizzard World a lot.
Really?
But I think this is the first time I've actually seen it.
This is the first time I've gotten to cast it, so I'm actually excited to.
I think Blizzard World might be another favorite of mine, just because it's a very nice, it's a nice track for the payload. and there's a lot of dynamic. It,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like I like King's Row because it feels like you're going to Hell's Kitchen. It's a bottleneck the whole way through
Yeah.
until the end. Where Blizzard World is pretty open. There's a lot of verticality, a lot of things that can happen. So it's a little different.
Should be interesting. Should be interesting. So be curious to see if Average Pro decides to stick with Diva,
Mm-hmm.
even though this is a more open map.
Yep.
Probably you won't be as cornered in with like the Junkrat mines and all that stuff.
Yeah, and as we look at the map right now, there's a couple of key things to point out. There's a number of set choke points that every team loves. The first being right at the beginning, and so who is actually pushing first? Looks like it is Oklahoma Christian. So we'll see if ISU is able to hold on to these choke points as long as they possibly can and beat them out for the second round.
I would absolutely love to see Night Slash stay on the Doomfist on this map.
Yeah.
I think I haven't seen a Doomfist. I haven't seen a Doomfist be played in any of these games. So it'd be interesting to see that.
You might be right, and I think Doomfist we did get to see a little bit more last season. I think last week we might have seen the Doomfist come out maybe during a flashpoint,
Maybe.
which kind of happens a lot. But we're also, I mean, look at the support choices.
So Zareth does end up getting his head taken off right off the bat.
Looks like Doomfist is coming in.
Very nice bubble for Average Pello, saving Lemonade from all that damage.
Oh, Average Pill almost grabs him.
But at the cost of Doomfist's life. Pretty good trade in my opinion, but
Yeah, I think so.
they do end up getting the res off. Very nice pick for Lemonade.
Average Pill soaking up all
Trying
the
his best
damage trying to use the
alive.
laser.
It's not enough. And honestly, I take it back. This comp is going to be hard to play against.
Yeah, we'll see if they actually. I mean, with the verticality, they decide to bring out Farah. Probably a good pick for them. They're just gonna have to deal with it. Lemonade is very situationally aware, so hopefully she'll be able to get those picks. But it is a hard shot to hit, even with an Ashe or Widowmaker for that matter.
Both teams kind of just feeling each other out, waiting for Average Pello to try to make command a little bit more space. Very nice pick for Average Pello.
I think the Tracer wasn't paying quite enough attention there.
Caught a fist in the back of the dome. Very nice for Average Pello. Very nice pick for Diane as well. Does end up taking down Bubbles, but Bubbles does get rezzed. Trying to pick Mercy, very nice for Diane.
That's exactly what they need to be able to find those supports and take them out. It disrupts the whole gameplay.
Space is now very much claimed by Average Pello. They should be able to take down the stragglers. But as team does come back to up the back up. Zareth does end up getting a pick on Night Slash. Will create even more of a stagger.
Yeah, it looks like their Doomfist is choosing to stick out on the sidelines and overextending just a little bit. They're not putting their supports right on their tank, and the tank is just hanging out on the side. And luckily, Zareth was able to just deal with that.
Very nice pick for Lemonade. Sniping her out of the air. Can she get the far up?
Oh!
Just barely escapes. Meteor Strike coming in.
I think they
Nice to slam on Diane. Is able to get out. From the top ropes. Does absolutely nothing. Very nice pick for Lemonade.
She manages to stay alive thanks to those healers. Diane and Bacon Cakes are definitely doing work at this map.
Very nice bubble and pick from Zareth. Able to shut down Bubbles. I would assume Mercy tried to go to the res.
Ooh.
Is persuaded not to.
Now, ISU have a lot of opportunity and options now. They got
Very nice grab
full
for
pockets.
Average Pello. Does end up getting countered by, I'm forgetting his name.
Who?
Transcendence. I was trying to remember the alt. Yeah, I remember it was Zen. Yeah, I was trying to remember the alt name.
Yeah, Transcendence. I think.
There we go. Bengals still do have 3 alts. I imagine they come out here pretty soon.
Now, this is kind of what we're talking about, where we're really going to see the difference between two tanks, because their tank is the lower ranked tank, And you were mentioning before how positioning is kind of key here. I mean, he's choosing positions, and it looks like that was more of a bounce there, but
You should have kept your mouth shut.
but now we're
Parrot punishing.
but we're
Nice slash from over.
there are
Yes, you are.
little overextending.
Yes.
And when you got Lemonade and Xerath, you got to be careful if you're going to do that.
Very nice performance from Lemonade and Xerath so far. I really hope they're able to keep up this level of play, because if they can, I think they can stop them at this point pretty easily. Lemonade and Xerath does realize somebody is in their back. Diane does unfortunately end up going down. Took a kunai straight in between the eyes.
Looks like Doomfist is going through the pounces once more. I think it,
Xerath does get solo ulted.
Oh.
So does Bacon and Cake.
unfortunate.
In the grand scheme of things, that is a pretty good trade. They were able to get 2 ults for only 2 picks.
Oh, the far went a little too
It does
deep in.
overextend, but they do end up capping the point, giving them extra time.
I'm glad Average Pillow didn't have barn doors for the Doomsday. Decided to turn around and take care of that.
Fellow trying to disengage. Might be able to catch Nice Slash.
Oh, this dude.
He does end up picking him. Very, very nice punish.
But one thing that Doomsday is doing is kind of Doomfist.
There we go.
Sorry. One thing he is doing is he's kind of splitting the attention. Even though he is dying, their payload is still creeping up. So they're like, these picks are nice, but they need to also be able to stop the payload.
And they were able to stop the payload for a good amount of time, but they just unfortunately, the ult exchange, it did. Excuse me. It was a little bit too much, because they did sacrifice 2 ults just to get 2 picks. Kind of a zoning ult for Bacon and Cake, not really to get that much value out of it, except just to kind of create space and push them back a little bit, making them reset. Rich Pillow up at 100% charge. Should be able to melt. Does end up grabbing.
Whoa!
Very nice pick.
Nice.
Late Transcendence.
This is a
Unable
good
to
combo.
send Kiriko.
Doomsday does come out, be able to back out and manage to stay alive just long enough. Average Pillow really wants
super
it.
low. Does end up going back in and getting punished immediately. I don't know what was going on.
This choke point is really working for ISU right now.
Yes, it is. They are excellently playing around this Doomfist.
Yeah,
Waiting for him to push him.
they've nearly stopped this payload at this corner for about a minute. Now, unfortunately, Lemonade does go down, their main DPS, so I would assume they're going to push really hard right now.
Xerath unfortunately does get stuck and will go down, forcing the Bengals have to back out a little bit. Average Pillow almost able to get the pick on Zealous.
With just a minute and a half to go, ISU is holding on to 3 ultimates, while Oklahoma Christian don't have any at the moment, and they won't have for a few moments. Lemonade is staying alive.
Bacon
just
and Cake
barely.
does end up picking the Genji. So
The
that-
Bob does come out.
Bob does his job. Oh my God, bars. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And does secure the pick on Nightshade. Night Slash, excuse me. Oh my goodness!
There it is.
Oh, somebody get Lemonade a napkin. She's eating him up like chicken shawarma. Very nice pick for Lemonade again. Somebody's eating tonight.
And now ISU is just going to leisurely walk this thing back as far as they can manage to go. They still got 3 ultimates to play with. Lemonade was able to use her Bob, but Bacon and Case does get theirs. Maybe Bacon Case did have it. Maybe it was there.
Doomfist sneaking in the back.
But Cassidy does have another ultimate to be able to zone with, so Xerath might be waiting to pop that off here
I
shortly.
would assume Xerath is waiting for this, the moment exactly. Very
where he
nice
wants
grab
it.
for Average Pillow. Does end up
Whoa,
getting 3.
there
Very
it
nice
is!
for Xerath.
Wombo combos!
Amazing.
That is what we wanted to see. And now with just 5 seconds left, they just are working on hopes and prayers, and there's the execution. It is game over.
Very, very nice first point for the Bengals. That was an excellent ult by both Xerath and Average Pillow. Realizing that this is the last effort, that they do have Trance, but even though Trance is popped, once it ends, they are able just to secure that kill with Xerath's High Noon.
Yeah.
And as soon as that's over, the grab plus the High Noon, easy.
And the orbital.
And the Orbital Red.
All of that just just equated to such a beautiful symphony of just calculated effort.
Yep.
I love it. It's like playing chess, but chess with like 5 dimensions.
It's like playing chess, but it's instead of moving pieces, it's who presses Q at the correct time.
Exactly. And
That's,
the discipline needed to do that. Like we've seen it. ISU had, like, let's admit, ISU has in the past maybe once or twice done one of those what's the word I'm looking for? Those
dang, you are really looking for that word, aren't you?
yeah, with their ultimates where they just throw it out like out of
Yeah.
desperation.
There we
The
go.
Desperation
Hey, he
ultimate.
found it.
But they masterfully just held on to those for the right moment. They knew that Oklahoma Christian wanted to really push that because Oklahoma Christian didn't really have a lot in their arsenal.
Yeah.
And so they just had to work on the manpower. And ISU just was waiting for that moment, and it worked out beautifully in their favor.
Night Slash must be fighting for his life in that Discord call right now because they told him to switch the blip off of Doomfist. And now
my God.
for this map, which I hope Average Pillow probably switches off of Diva because that is a direct counter.
Oh. Yeah, let's see what they manage to do. I would hope for the switch, but I'm not the player.
That's why you're talking about it. And
That's
not
why I'm talking about it, not playing.
Well, we're kind of just a poke fight right now for both teams, trying to just fill each other out, seeing who would make the first move to get some space. Average Pillow does end up making that first move. Diane does go down because of it, though. So does Zara.
So unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of I'm not going to say coordination, but unfortunately, the supports went down right when they needed them most for that play. Well, they were able to get a couple.
Bacon and Cake is the last left standing. I would assume Average Pillow probably switches off of Diva
Yeah.
right now. And
Yep.
the switch does come out to a counter, to a mirror fight again.
Mirror fight, yeah.
The other Zarya, which Average Pillow I assume would win because spent the whole last round playing Zarya.
Yeah. Zareth decides to bring out the Bastion. I'm still trying to remember what kind of perks are laid out for Bastion.
One of Bastion's perks is that he does now regain his self-heal.
Yeah, he has a self-repair bow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
So, coordinates. Here's the coordination you were talking about. You wanted to see more of right now. Trying to take this high ground. Almost able to get them. Does end up getting a pick on Night Slash. Should be able to move in very easily.
Ooh,
does
there
get
it is.
another one.
Fortunately, Zareth does go down, but it is a two for one trade. Hopefully that is enough to capitalize on this moment. There's a lot more enemies to sniff out here.
They are, from looks like, disengaging, knowing well enough not to stagger. Really, at this point, is more than likely lost. They will just give it up and, what's the word? Reconvene
Yeah,
to fight this choke.
which is interesting. I would have expected them to contest that a little longer, but maybe they just didn't feel like it was worth it. Diane does come up with the orbital ray right off the bat to be able to punch through this next checkpoint. No one goes down immediately, which is really nice. Bacon and Cakes is ready for her next ultimate. But Oklahoma Christian does have a plethora of ultimates on their side as well. Bubbles was... I didn't see...
I just want to point out,
ultimate.
ISU did an insanely good job at avoiding that Riptire. They all disengaged
I was-
and they were completely just waiting for it, and Diane was able to destroy it the second it popped up over the wall.
I didn't even see it. That's how much I was like, where did the Riptire
Yeah.
go?
Average Pillow does end up getting solo grab, will go down along with Diane, which is okay because the point is right here. Zareth does end up getting a pick in return. 2 picks in return, excuse me. Does go down in the process, but they will have a longer walk back to the fight. So they should be able to create a lot more space in this next upcoming.
Hopefully they get
Right.
pulled out long enough in this corner for the team to reconvene. Looks like they will, but they're gonna have to reestablish some dominance on that payload. Lemonade, Tomoto Lemonade does looking for those nasty picks.
Gets blocked by a banner.
Banner. I hate it when the banner is the 6th player
Yep.
on the other team. Now it's a Zera versus Zera action over in this, looks like it's a warehouse or a garage.
Did you say garage?
I do say garage. It's more fun to sound British sometimes. The whole crew, the whole broadcasting crew are cringing in their seats.
So what's next? Is it chips or crackers?
Chips or crack? It is fish and chips. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Yep.
We don't do
All right.
crackers with the
All right.
chips.
Either way, both teams pretty even when it comes to ults right now.
They'll spread out.
Yeah.
I think ISU is going to probably group up a little more heavily here on these stairs. And yeah, it's just a tank versus tank action. It's the first tank to go down. Unfortunately, Diane does drop, but does manage to get the ultimate off before he does. Xerath will go down as well. It's not looking good for ISU for this fight.
Below. And so does the rest of the team. Kind of a all over the place fight for the Bengals on that one.
Yeah, I almost felt like the last round was like that too, but it's just the same here. Unfortunately, a little slower start for ISU. They have a lot more ground to make up with just under 2 minutes to do it. Excuse me, about a minute and a half.
Jumping in the air, trying to secure. Very nice grab, trying to fight through it. Does end up securing the pick with Xerath does end up going down in the process. Good trade though. She'll be able to move in pretty easily. Destroying the trap. Teaser from a mile away. Diane does go down, unfortunately. Everswell trying to avenge her. I don't know how the heck
Comes the tower.
Average Pillow gets that bubble off.
So Bubbles was able to grab one kill with the tower, which will disrupt the Briggs ultimate, or them being ready with that ultimate. Now with just 60 seconds, ISU are basically going to have to play 100% offensively and not let them get into a kind of a defensive funk here.
All we need from ISU is just a couple picks. Even just one.
Lemonade changing to the Cassidy.
Bacon and Cake does end up going down in that grab, but Average Pillow is able to get out with her life.
And yeah, ISU is kind of all over the place once again. They're really split up.
Not able to get a pick right there. Trying to secure something before they have to reset for this last team fight if they're able to touch. It will be up to Bacon and Cake to try to touch the point.
Yeah, they're trying to do a lot of staggering at the moment.
Bacon and Cake does end up having to go. Xerath trying to touch. Does end up catching a kunai in the back of the head and is unable to touch. And so Oklahoma Christian does end up taking that map. Overall, insanely valiant effort from the Bengals.
Yeah, and like once again, like as amazing that display for ISU in that first game, there was a little bit. Oh, here we get to see this amazing equation of awesomeness, and I'm gonna get to see that last kill. But like I was saying, in that first game for this payload, we got to see a lot of great picks from ISU, but we also saw that Oklahoma Christian basically had a man on the payload for a good chunk, which gave them a lot of momentum. Unfortunately, ISU wasn't able to keep that kind of momentum for the second round. So
one thing that I would like to point out is that I think one of the keys to success that we had on the first point was since they were playing Doomfist. Doomfist is a very self-centered character. You have to rely on yourself to get health packs, map knowledge to get out when you're diving. You can't be carried by your supports that much when you're playing Doomfist. So one big thing that I saw changing from point to point was that when Night Slash got off of Doomfist and played Zarya, a tank that is kind of more grounded with her team and like can be surrounded and carried and supported, that's when the game kind of changed. If that makes sense.
I mean, we saw the Doofens during the offensive round for them, and then he swapped to the Zarya. And did he have another swap? No, he stayed on Zarya that whole second round. So it's just the difference between the offensive and defensive plays. I felt like in the first game, their offensive was, I think it was pretty good because we saw amazing picks, but they were trading picks for meters.
Yes, they were.
And they did that effectively. So when they swapped to the Zarya and basically it's full defense, they just stopped ISU from being able to do that. So it worked out in their favor. Good tactician. I got to give him that. So, but as far as next map
will be Flashpoint. So the
Flashpoint.
game mode will be Flashpoint. And since we did end up losing that point, we will choose Cervasa. So Cervasa will be our next map that we get to see.
Yeah. And so for just a recap, first game was Nepal on Control. We lost at 0-2. Then Blizzard World, where we had an amazing first round. They didn't quite get to the checkpoint, which was great for us, but their defense was a little heavier than their offense. And they were able to slow down ISU quite heavily, also winning that map for hybrid. And now we're on to Flashpoint, which historically has been a struggle for ISU. We see great moments and great competition, but we also see that their, I guess, aggressiveness of getting in is sometimes challenged. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Lemonade is the better pick or picker. I should say picker. Just I think she's mechanically just better at those headshots.
Yeah.
We'll see if that actually makes a difference here. It might not, because it's usually in the first few rounds where we get to see her shine, and then we really need to rely on tanks and stuff like that in the Flashpoint part of the game.
I think it'll be interesting to see this kind of map, because when we looked at Nepal, it was a lot. It was really one-sided, to say the least. So I would like to see maybe a little bit more of a learning from that first map, and kind of trying to get some of that momentum from Blizzard World, like from that really, really nice stop that we got, bring some of that into Servasta.
Yeah.
Just basically this whole map comes down to how well Lemonade and Zaref can get picks. Like, that is the key to winning this.
So do you think kind of what they did in the first game, or no, the first half of the second map with that Wombo combo, do you think that there is any merit in saving and kind of planning out your ultimates in a way that...
Definitely. But a part of that is that sometimes you have to use your ult as a counter as well.
Right.
Is that sometimes holding on to your ult and just waiting for that moment to all press it at the same time and wipe the whole team, that only comes every every so and so time. Like, you can't rely on that. So yes, that's enough to like win one team fight, or in this case what we saw, like win a fight at the end.
Yeah.
But that isn't something that you really want to be reliant on.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you always got to think about the next team fight.
Correct.
And if you are equipped and ready for it.
Correct. So I mean, for example, if you come out on Flashpoint in Servasta, and then you secure the point first, you build up all your ultimates, and you use them. The other team has their ultimates to use as well. It doesn't matter about those fights in the beginning. It's whoever has their ultimates at the end wins.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it can be 99-99, and Lemonade could have gotten off like 6 bobs, and it wouldn't have mattered if the other team has Sound Barrier at the end.
That's true.
So it really is just kind of a who can save their all, who can use their all at the best times.
You said it before.
Yeah.
When's the right time to push G?
Q.
Yeah. My mistake.
That's okay.
What game pushes G? Why did I even say it?
I don't even know.
I think I'm just dyslexic.
Yeah. Are you sure you're American? Sorry.
Born and raised, I haven't even seen another country.
Is that right?
That's not true. I saw Canada once.
I saw Canada.
I looked at it once.
Yeah, me too. I was across.
Where I was, there's a city that's actually in like the Twilight books. It's where she goes, like, she almost gets abducted, and she, like, Edward comes and saves her. It was that city I was visiting.
Really?
I could look across the bay and see Canada. I was like, oh, so that's what Canada looks like. It looks just like here.
You see moose, hockey, and maple syrup?
I mean, there's plenty of moose where I come from.
Oh, really?
In Idaho.
Canada? Oh, sorry.
We have the most moose concentration in the United States where I'm from. Yeah, so I'm very familiar with moose. I got attacked by a moose once.
You got attacked by a moose?
Yeah. I just had to do this do-si-do thing around a tree until it got bored of me.
Interesting. I would have loved to see that.
I had my nephew in hand too. Like,
you had a baby in your hand.
He wasn't a baby. He was kind of
had a
little older
in your hand, and you're being attacked by a moose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. You would have been reported the second I found out that story. No more hanging out with Uncle Dirk, bro. No more.
No, they remember it with fondness. Average Pillow decides to go with Zareth. Not Zareth. What do I call it? Oh, Average Pillow goes with Zara.
Zarya.
Zarya.
Yeah.
Night Slasher decides to go with Zarya again, so it is another mirrored matchup for the tanks. Lemonade sticks with the Cassidy, and Bubbles goes back to, I guess he played
Junkrat. Most of the
last game.
Yeah, most of that match. Both picks coming out for both teams. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Very nice pick for Average Fellow. Is able to get charged up pretty nicely. Finds the trap, trying not to get caught by it. Still kind of a fight to see who can secure the point first. I imagine it will be the Bengals since we are able to get
I
a little bit more picks than them.
Here. And now is just defending this point. Hopefully utilizing this choke. Looks like they're going to take the fight where the fight is. Going after that Life Weaver.
Very nice
and managed
pick
to
for
grab the
Lemonade.
Life Weaver. Awesome.
Does send Life Weaver back to spawn.
Really good, strong start from ISU. Love to see it.
Zareth playing very aggressive, trying to get this pick on the Soldier 76.
Now it looks like Oklahoma Christian's a little split. Let's see if they actually group up for this initiative here. And now the two Zaryas are dancing.
Average Pillow is charged up to 100%. Will be dealing out massive amount of damage. Diane does unfortunately end up going down. Average Pillow should be able to hold the choke point pretty well.
Yeah, they are pretty
charged up.
Oh
Zealous does get on that off angle, dividing some of the attention of the Bengals.
No heals. One of Lemonade's actually going to hold on to it. Unfortunately, does go down as the rest of the team is kind of staggered, meaning Oklahoma Christian can come and take this point back.
But does get 99 out of that interaction.
Absolutely. That was a huge play. So it gives ISU a little bit of wiggle room to set up for our next team fight before it's actually contested and taken. And 3 ultimates for ISU, not bad to play with.
Just so they should be able to take this point pretty easily. Does end up getting grabbed. Soundbayer does come out to try to counter it. Lemonade does pop out. Does end up getting Night Slash. Very nice pick for the Bengals. Should be able to move in.
Average Pillow still has his ultimate ready. It's going to get a pick. Does manage to secure a couple. And there's
the elevator all the way up.
And now this should be enough to be able to secure it. If they will touch, we'll see if they do. They'll probably just give it up.
They're all dead. They can't
even touch.
They can't even touch.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if there was one more just sneaking about. But first point does go to ISU.
They will waddle their way over to the second one, trying to get there first.
Did you say waddle because you think Eagles waddle?
What? No.
You said that the mascots for Oklahoma Christian are Eagles, right?
So would you rather me say fly over there?
I don't know. Swoop? I don't know. Anything you say an Eagle just sounds too cool. Okay. So waddle's fine.
Okay.
Have you ever seen an eagle swim? It looks ridiculous.
No, I haven't.
All right, so as for these team fights, no one has gone down. Lemonade does manage to get Bubbles. Average Pillow grabbing the tank. And now they can just walk.
Whooping him away.
They can swoop in.
You like that? Holy ego grab from Average Pillow, securing both supports.
Oh my gosh, can I say that? That's sexy. That was a sexy move.
Yep, and we're reported. Nice. Nice.
And reported.
Nice one. You know, if I wasn't biased towards our team, I would say that wasn't a smart grab because they were already disengaging.
No.
But who cares? You know, press Q, you'll get it back. Set the tone. Diane does unfortunately end up getting first pick. I assume Lemonade will probably pop her ult in this situation.
The soldier does come up with his ultimate, but they were, I guess he did manage to get one kill. So they are getting kind of staggered. The Lemonade does go down. Diane's going to have to stay off the point and just let them have it. But their next team fight should look pretty promising for ISU. Lemonade and Diane and Zareth, all three have their ultimates. A lot of zoning action. Zareth might be able to go in first, meaning that Oklahoma Christian don't really have the potential to stay grouped up as much as they would want to.
I'd imagine they will be very, very on the lookout for this grab upcoming. This grab from Night Slash. Bacon and Cake does have his ultimate, so I assume they will use that. The second grab comes out, I assume right now.
Oh, Lemonade's caught.
Does not to use it.
Which is smart. They probably have just enough time to reset for one more attempt.
Better man than me. I would have probably used it, but it was smart.
Yeah. I love that Bacon Cakes is like, I'm outsy. I just could watch this movement all day.
Don't ever say that again. Trying to walk them down. Pillow doesn't end up getting a pick. Trying to secure another one. Nice Slash is out of bubbles. Trying to secure it. Does end up going down. Able to turn over the point.
At 99%. All right, this is getting kind of dramatic here.
And I would imagine if they can get a couple more staggers here, they should be able to secure this point without them contesting.
Not going to chase it, so they're just going to come down to the last ultimate.
I do
overtime.
not think they will end up touching, and they will.
Oh,
ISU does
holy
end up securing
cow.
point 2.
I was expecting at least an effort, especially on the second contested point. And they give ISU the 2-0 lead at Flashpoint, and I don't think that's ever happened before for ISU.
Yeah, it has.
A 2-0 lead?
We were playing our
Flashpoint? Oh, when we were playing our JV.
Yeah.
That's true. I wasn't thinking about the Big Sky Conference.
As you shouldn't, because we're NACE
Yeah.
now.
I was thinking about NACE.
Yes, correct.
And we didn't have Big Sky last season, so I rarely think about it. Last season is just in my dreams all the time.
Yeah.
It's just, that's all I think about.
It's kind of concerning.
A little bit.
Bit of poking and prodding from both Zarias. I assume Average Pillow maybe uses their ultimate.
Maybe.
If they decide to contest, to push pretty far into the point, I'd imagine. The Q goes out.
I think since they have it, he's probably just going to
They're going to take
onto it.
Get caught. Doesn't end up going down. Zealous on the Soldier 76, playing the off angles really well, forcing ISU to really respect his positioning and respect what he's doing. Doesn't impress in Q and mowing down the rest of the team.
The contested zone will go over to Oklahoma Christian, but with a 39% lead for ISU. So not a ton of lead, but there's a lot of game left. So a lot of lead up for the next team fights, or 2 or 3, and I can imagine we'll see at least.
You see the junk right up there, just
I do, being a little cheeky.
Average Pillow notices it too.
Oh,
Trying to get him off the high ground.
oh,
Does able to shut down that ultimate.
that was
Very
sick.
nice shots for Lemonade.
He had to get out. And once
Grab comes out, does unfortunately end up getting 2. Forcing the Bengals to have to back up. Night Slash doesn't unfortunately end up getting a 3K.
now they basically have one more chance, if not 2.
One.
Well, one more chance to contest it, but if they will manage to contest it, we'll most likely see a second or third team fight before this is. Holy cow! Huge play from Bubbles, managing to find Lemonade, or Lemonade found him, and he was just ready.
Yeah. And that will be enough for them to secure that point.
So it looks like I think ISU just decided to let it be, especially when Lemonade decided to go.
Up 2-0. There's no need to give them any more ult charge than what they already have.
Yeah, as far as ultimate-wise, I think ISU is going to be able to probably capture this first. If they choose to use their ults for that, maybe they will try to use manpower over the tactical advantage.
Eagles do end up securing themselves on the point early. Ult's coming out for the Bengals, trying to secure a point. Kill, excuse me.
Average Pillow
Does end up getting
almost
2.
goes down, but manages to stay alive just long enough to get a team wipe, near team wipe. Are they going to chase him down?
Yeah, of course.
Looks like he got away.
It's a pretty good fight for the Bengals.
And they only used, what, like
2.
2
Yeah.
ultimates?
They only used 2.
Dang.
So now they do have 3 ultimates to try to hold this point as long as possible to secure this win. Lemonade with a bit of a zoning ult, forcing them back.
A lot of hidey holes to hide.
Zeref finding bubbles once again. Knows where he is. Can he shut down the ult? Does end up dodging it. Very nice for Zeref.
That was a good play. Unfortunately, it does get down. But with a 65% lead, ISU is looking really good, even though they're losing this point.
They will probably turn over with a 77.
And now they got 2 ultimates to play with for this next team
Very,
fight.
very good discipline from Bacon and Cake and from Zeref to not use their ults in that fight.
Yep.
So they do have their ults upcoming to try to recontest and take over this point and, in essence, win this game.
Yeah. Now, I bet you a Tree of Life is going to happen around the same time Zeref decides to pop.
I would imagine it's probably going to happen directly after.
Yeah. Now they're just looking for their avenue in. Got a little time to play with, but I reckon they probably don't want to let it tie up because
Zeref does end up popping his ultimate.
Doesn't manage to get a kill.
Trying to get out with
there.
his
He
life.
might get found out, and he does.
Does get found. Will it be enough for them to secure the point? Tree of Life does end up coming out, but does immediately gets countered by Average Pillow. Very nice grab.
Average Pillow for the
kills.
play of the game, you might imagine. If we don't sound excited, I'm sorry. That was exciting.
They should be able to hold this point without them touching. If they can get these staggers, they do not have any healers.
The Kiriko rush will be inevitable here.
And
No,
they
it
do
won't. He will be shut down, and that
Very
is the
nice
win for
performance
ISU.
For ISU.
That is, let me just preference, that is a win for ISU against one of the best teams in last season of the NACE League.
Mid. Mid.
And I predicted it. This was the play of the game here right now.
Top 500 for what? Anyways,
a beautiful play from Average Pello there. Just
amazing.
I didn't even think he had like much of a support there. He was basically one man.
no,
banding
it was I think it was a 3v4.
Was
I believe.
Okay.
And I think both of our supports were there.
Nice.
So no, that was very, very nice play from Average Fellow, game winner. Overall, that was a dominant performance.
That was super good.
From
I think ISU had the ult advantage pretty much throughout the entire time, and we say it time and time again. Those first few team fights basically lay out the foundation of what the whole game might look like, and for this game, it was just in ISU's favor for the majority, if not all of it.
Correct. So for the first time in a long time,
we go to game 4. Yeah, we love
this
game
is
4.
crazy. You don't ever get to see game 4.
No, I missed game 4.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be push?
I don't remember what mode.
Well, they can pick between push and... Well, it's going to be their pick now.
Yeah.
So, according to our producer, it will be push, has to be push. Oklahoma Christian will be able to pick what map they choose. As far as push, I feel like they're all mostly the same.
They are.
So,
they all suck.
They all suck. I don't think Noah likes push.
No, I don't like push at all.
I'm definitely bad at push, so maybe I should hate push too.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised because push is kind of a more like open game mode where it's like you use the whole map and not just like you don't fight in jokes. Wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe Doomfist come out again.
Maybe
with the Eagles, but probably not because
the last time we saw push was during the Big Sky Conference.
Yeah,
and I don't remember who were actually it might have been.
I don't remember how that.
It wasn't Varsity because I think they three-stomped Varsity, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it would have been. That would have been kind of questionable if they didn't.
Either way, it's been a minute since we've seen.
But there was one other team during that where we did go to game 4.
Yeah.
But first time in this season in the NACE League for ISU. So that's fun. And yeah, we're just waiting for teams to be ready. Definitely can feel the hype in the room. Everyone is pretty zazzed up.
Said, like we said before, it has been a minute since we've gone to game 4.
Yeah. And we only have like one or two more games after this, I think. And I think the league is over before we go into real tournament, and so determine seed. Which
So this is like regular season.
Yeah.
And then
this is regular season.
after this,
we'll should look at tournament.
Yeah.
Probably predict that ISU will probably be close to, if not the lower end of the seed. But they're improving. I like to see that.
Me as well. I would like to see. Honestly, I think Average Pillow should stick on Zarya.
It worked out. It worked out this time.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to see a Doomfist maybe last game, but we didn't. And it sounds like Oklahoma Christian have picked their next map, but I was talking while they said it. They can repeat that. Or we can just see it.
That works too.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna let me attempt this. Runasapi?
Hey.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah. I think.
You don't know either.
Yes,
You're
I
just
do.
playing like
Nope,
you know
I'm
English.
kidding. It's Runasapi.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know this map. It shows how much I've played Push.
Yeah.
Or it even says how much we've seen Push in these games. We don't get to see Push hardly at all. So this is gonna be interesting.
In my opinion, this map isn't really off angle focused that much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't really think there's a lot of room for people to be like poking and prodding around and stuff like that. So I think it'll be a pretty straightforward match. So I wouldn't imagine seeing like a Doomfist. I imagine probably both tanks do stick on Zarya for this one.
Yeah, that's probably a good one, but probably won't see. What about like Lifeweaver for Oklahoma Christian? We got to see a Lifeweaver. We also got to see the Farah and Mercy combo.
Yeah. That got shut down extremely quick.
Yeah.
Because Lemonade was hitting her shot.
Yeah. So maybe they were a little wary of it this time, but we'll get to see right now what the team comps are about to be as we are going into game 4 of ISU versus Oklahoma Christian University. And look, we get to play the same old game with our observers. We played bingo during the Big Sky conference.
Yeah.
We played bingo of what props can the observers find. That looks like Emperor Cusco.
It does. Wow, it really does. Blizzard should sue again.
Again?
Huh.
Did they sue Disney once?
I don't know. I don't know if it was Disney, but I know that there was lawsuit.
Huh. And I could have sworn that food stand said Pocahontas. No, it said something else.
Yeah.
All right, so team comp, Average Pillow does go for the Zarya again. We see that Night Slash decides to go with Junker Queen. We haven't seen that yet today, so we'll see a little bit of different action here, but we get to see a Genji, Widowmaker, different stuff all around. So they're pulling out all the stops this time. Their ultimate decides to go.
Swap Widowmaker immediately because ISU does have 2 counters directly to that character.
Yep.
Having Genji and Lustio. But imagine they not stay on the Widow for very long.
Maybe not. We did see a lot of Widowmaker during the Big Sky during push phases. Not push phases, but like different payloads. Maybe a hybrid. But we don't get to see it that much. But it does look like she is going to stick with it. It was an escort map that we saw a lot of Widowmakers.
Very nice pick for Lemonade. Both teams are missing a DPS. Pretty even fight from now.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Have we always seen Zane Jamin in the last games? That's not a substitute, is it?
No.
Okay, maybe I'm just not paying attention well enough.
Trying to get this pick.
Oh, unfortunately gets
Able to get it.
killed in the chase, which always hurts. Sucks.
Have you been killed in the chase before?
You know what? Sometimes the prize just looks a little too sweet for the actual, like, not the prize. The prize is death.
You think that's what the Moose was thinking when he was chasing you and your nephew?
I mean, my nephew probably looked pretty tasty. I imagine that.
And he has the
And for those at home, if you've watched National Geographics, everyone knows moose eat children. That's the moral of the
I
story.
don't think that's true.
Anyway, we should get back to the actual game where this is a really close battle around this push figure. Unfortunately, Zaref does get taken out. Sorry, I'm talking about this. I was.
No, it's my fault for bringing up the Moose. I apologize.
See, that's just my brain. As soon as you bring something up, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about something else.
Zealous is still on Widowmaker for some reason. I've not seen this man make any impact on this game whatsoever. Don't know why.
Oof.
But
Don't
it's
just
working.
slap him in the face that one.
Yes, I do. They're all the way across the country. What are they going to do? Diane does unfortunately end up going down. Trent does eliminate. Nice pick on the Zenyatta.
One more. There it is.
Nice shots for Lemonade. Unfortunately, Average Pillow does end up going down in the process.
Oh. So Lemonade will go down. So there's a little bit of staggering happening while they are. But this is kind of a choke point here. So now they're going to have to run this all the way back to make up their own ground.
Still, both team comps are saying the same.
Yeah, we're
Which is
just
very surprising for me.
yeah
But ISU does have every single ultimate in the game.
versus their 3. So we'll see the next team fight, if it goes right, should go in ISU's favor. Oh,
Very nice pick for Zaref, securing a pick on the Zenyatta. Does unfortunately get punished for overextending just a tad bit. But the rest of his team does end up coming in and securing 2 picks.
yeah, I think that was definitely the right move there. He held on to his ultimate. He didn't get.
Yep.
He didn't go for the light too hard, or fly too close to the sun, I should say.
I get it. Fly like eagle.
Yeah,
Sorry. Anyways.
I do believe that ISU Bengals are better at flying than the Eagles currently.
Average Pillow trying to gain some charge. Still does end up getting 45. Queen Alt does come out with the counter sound barrier. Lemonade does end up securing 2 picks in that fight. Zaref pops Genji Blade.
Oh, he's kind of caught up in that building though. Wasn't able to utilize it that well.
Does not matter though, because that's why they're Lemonade on the team.
But what I did like to see from that team fight, that Zaref was on the back end, basically needing to split the difference, but they basically just focused on the main team fight, so paid out in ISU's favor. They did use up all their ultimates in the process though, and it looks like ultimates are coming out from Oklahoma Christian now to stop this payload.
Their Junkrat completely whiffed their ult.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah.
I missed that. That's how bad they
He
did.
missed
I
it as well.
didn't even like. He was like, "Oh, was that the wind?"
Either way, Average Pillow does end up switching off of Zarya to Hazard. Hazard, yes.
Yeah, and actually we've heard him talk about this in the past, where he said in his ranked games he would win more games with Hazard than not. So it's interesting that he's pulling him out now. But we've also discussed that, you know, ranked games and league games they can be a different beast.
Yes.
Looks like I don't know if that was a fall or if that was an anti-stagger play. We didn't get to see what happened there.
Trying to get a pause.
Ooh, pauses are happening. Looks like teams are using up one of their timeouts. Each team gets 2 timeouts per map, I believe. So it looks like I don't even know who used the timeout. Okay, so this is a technical pause,
Yeah.
not a timeout.
I think one of our PCs did crash, so bit of a technical pause until we get that back online.
It's one of the first time that it's on our end.
I know. Normally it's their end because they're
Usually we're
cheating.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gotta bust out the bring out the cheat programs now. Nah, they don't do that.
Overall, I hope that maybe actually no, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, in trouble.
Yeah, I would get in trouble. I just hope that the momentum can switch. I hope that the momentum can switch due to this inconvenient timing of our
Oh.
PC crashing. Maybe can break some of the momentum.
Well, sometimes people need a breather.
Yeah,
Like get the
like our PC.
bring the heart rate down a little bit. You'll play better. Drink some water.
Yeah.
Touch grass.
What's that?
What's grass?
Yeah.
Is this one thing I saw that one time with the moose? There was some grass there.
You were looking at the grass and not the moose.
Well, that's how the moose snuck up on us so easy. It's a 400-pound animal. That's a light moose. 400 pounds is a
A
lot.
lot more than 400.
Probably like 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Are we back yet? So if you want to know more about moose, there was actually a second time I encountered a moose. I was working on a trail maintenance crew, and we were running with our Pulaskis and our chainsaws. We're
What's
running.
the last?
A Pulaski is like a pickaxe and a shovel that had a
Okay.
baby and made a Pulaski.
Okay, got it.
It's kind of like a Spaniard and a
You're
Frenchman
good,
had a
you're good,
baby
you're
and made a
good,
Portuguese.
You're good. You're good.
That's what a Pulaski is.
Okay.
It's a Portuguese of the tool world.
Okay. Portuguese tool. Got it.
It's Portuguese. So we're running and we turn a corner and I see a baby moose standing right on the trail, and I skid. I stop and I'm like skidding, and I could have like touched it. I got so close. I backed off. So like everyone knows, don't approach like a baby bear, right?
Yeah.
Don't. Same thing with the moose. Don't approach a baby moose. The mom will kill you. And we didn't know where the mom was, so we're freaking out. So we just backed off until we could almost see it, and then we finally see the mom kind of like emerge from the brush and like look at us, and then like
Keep
that
going.
that kept going.
Yeah.
I was like, that could have been my life. I was about to die. So yeah, that was my second encounter with a moose.
You've had more encounters with moose than I've had with grass.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be that way.
We are still having technical difficulties.
So we'll probably just take a short break. We'll be back. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as soon as both teams are up and ready. Until then, we'll catch you guys when we're back. Okay, we are actually back. It wasn't too much of a wait, but we are finally in game, and hopefully ISU use that time to reacquaint themselves with their souls, and their hearts are where they need to be to pull this win out.
I like that. You should write a book.
I have wrote a book. It's a very short book. It's How to Make a Fool of Yourself on Air 101.
Got it.
Yeah. And
So
looks like
Speed Rush does come out for the Bengals,
coming in hot.
forcing them back just a little bit. Fighting for this neutral point. I'd imagine Lemonade pops her out very soon.
Looks like it's ISU's turn to back off just a bit.
Trying to avoid that orbital ray from the Eagles.
Now there's a couple of dangers that ISU's gonna have to face here. Both Zane and Night Slash both have their ultimates. Hopefully Lemonade might be able to use their ultimate to kind of mitigate some of this.
Lemonade doesn't unfortunately go down. Not able to back out just enough. Zaref does end up getting a pick on Zealous. So does Average Pillow on the Zenyatta.
And now they should be able to do the chasing.
Zeref does go down, so it is a 3v3 right now. Riptire comes out for the Eagles. Average Pillow sees it.
Here it
Trying to
is.
shoot it out the air. Whiffs completely again.
They were able to see that and pretty much counter that. Good job. Oh, Lemonade is face to face with the tank.
Pops the Ego ult.
And
Oh, to kill him. Does end up going down.
woo!
Good ult from Lemonade.
Now with just over 2 minutes left, it is back. The ISU is back to the escort, and hopefully they can actually make up this ground. Ultimate-wise, there were some ultimates used, but Diane and Zeref both have theirs to use.
Average Pillow with a very nice pounce on Zealous,
You're
securing
right.
that elimination.
Widowmaker has not really had a presence here.
Told you.
And here comes the Genji ultimate, gonna hopefully get some picks off.
Will be unable to get any picks because of the Transcendence.
And they
Very nice wall for Average Pillow.
Oh, and the second
Nice
one.
pick for Zeref.
And now ISU be able to keep up the momentum and gain some more ground. They should be able to get back to square one. Not square one.
Catch up.
Catch up to where they were. And now it is
Really, really good wall by Average Pillow.
yeah,
Isolating Night Slash from the rest of his team.
yeah. We get to see that a lot of that from like ice walls.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Hazard technically an ice wall. It looks like a rock wall, but Diane just managing to stay alive just barely. Does manage to get out the Kiriko Rush. And ISU are about to tie up the distance here and get in the lead.
They just barely touch. Bubbles does unfortunately end up getting 2, and they will just barely escape.
Now with 30 seconds left, and they weren't able to quite get that lead. So now ISU are gonna have to play hard defense and reacquire this in order to go to game 5 essentially.
Yeah.
It is all down to this.
1 ult. 2 ults for us, 1 ult for them.
Lemonade does have the ultimate ready and decides to use it right now.
Never has to secure the kill.
Yeah, it's on.
Mr. Matra does look away for a second and is unable to get it.
And he's so close, but doesn't manage to get the kill. He will be found.
Sombra does unfortunately end up losing. Average Pillow does get a pick. Trades for both teams. Pillow popping his ult. Desperation. Do they notice that Bacon?
Holy cow, Bacon and Cakes is running with it. He's on the breakaway, and they're just chasing. Fortunately, I think unless they can touch, that will be what Oklahoma Christian needs to secure the win and winning the game of the day. Oh, but that was
good.
that was such a good game. That was the most entertaining push game I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was fun. Bacon and Cake almost got the C9. I think if that point was stopped maybe just a little bit further, like down the street, I think Bacon and Cake would have got her.
Maybe. I don't know, like, how fast can that thing run
Not very
compared
fast.
to how fast can they catch up to you?
They had a Sombra. So they were able to catch up pretty quickly. It was a long shot, but I saw the vision.
I don't care if it worked or failed. That was great.
Yeah.
But that will actually wrap up today's game. We ended up going 3-1, which is a big improvement for ISU against one of the best teams in the league, in the NACE league. Once again, historically, 2 top 500s. But there was also the Tank, who was a little lower in their ranks, but kind of averaged out in the end. But it was an entertaining game nonetheless. Definitely one of the more fun times casting that we've had. So yeah, what'd you think?
I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the team had fun as well.
I think so.
I think we probably could have won that.
But I think it's days like this that help you grow.
Yeah.
I think it's days like this that remind you like this game is fun.
Yeah.
And that we are having a good time.
It's
that
not
we
always
love
all
our
fun.
teammates and
Yeah.
we love the energy in this room. Win or lose, it's a party, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
But So for next week, uh, in the NACE, this period in the NACE, the schedules have been kind of whack. We should have been playing yesterday, but we were pushed back to playing on Wednesday. And as far as Valorant, I don't think they play this week. They have a bye week, and so we'll probably be able to catch them next week. So so this will wrap up for this week. Next week we start off with Rocket League, which will match up against their very last team. And remind me, oh, it's going to be Oklahoma Christian University again. Same team we played tonight. And then as for then we Tuesday will be Overwatch, so back to normal schedule, and then Valorant, I believe, on Wednesday. Oh, correct. I'm stand corrected. Valorant will be Thursday, so still a little bit of um, a twist on the schedule for next week. But as we draw closer to the tournament time, we should see those kind of things where everyone's trying to get their games in. But if you want to know for sure what game times are, head over to our Instagram at Idaho State Esports. There you can catch the schedules when they're posted and they're up to date. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next week, starting with Rocket League Monday, Overwatch Tuesday, and like I said, for Valorant, catch them on Thursday. We'll see you guys there. I'm Dirk.
I'm Noah. Have a good one.